I'm gonna record with this big
No,
behemoth on you. He's so cute though.
Hi, everybody. Well, this is what happened. I think that she came, especially for my brother. Just loves my doggies. But Patrick, you're going to have to go, my baby.
Come back. Come, come, come.
She just came and plonked herself on me like a big baby, really. Come on, Patrick, go. Baby, call her, please.
Come here, Pat. Come. Come, you big
Go. Patch, go, baby. Good
Come.
girl. Oh, my goodness. But anyway, so hi, everybody. My name is Gladys, and this is a Soulful Soul. And every week, once a week, I do a midweek one card draw, which has become a 2 card draw. And what I do is you reflect on that card for the week ahead. I see how it plays out in my life, and then I share my reflections. I also talk about the meaning of the card, the traditional meaning of the card. But that's the beauty of the tarot, right? Its meaning changes all the time. Well, we have a base meaning, a standard meaning, and then there's so many ways that we can see the effects in our lives and interpret and reinterpret, you know? So last week's card, and then what I do after this is I choose 2 cards for the week ahead. Now, I just want to say that I'm not sure if I should continue these because I know they're not really popular. I don't get much feedback, but I know that when I don't do them, my friends do ask. So I'm just checking about how useful they are. I know they're really useful for me and as my own documentation. So I will keep doing them for myself, but I just wonder how much value they have for everybody right now. And that's okay, you know, it's just part of the process. And, you know, for the short time and the amount of work that goes into it and the fact that I'm so busy right now with another project, it can become like a bit taxing. So if you have alternatives for me, if you feel this is important and you have alternative ways that I can do it, please share. Anyway, so let me show you the cards. Last week's cards were like polar opposites. That's the challenging times. It's the 5 of Wands. And then we got the Sun, which in this deck is light. And I think I must move closer. Yeah. And if you look at them, it's like 2 polar opposite cards, right? So the 5 of Wands talks about fighting. It talks about competition, even perceived or real. And yeah, just like almost like a dog eat dog kind of thing. Sometimes it can, I used to always think it was a light card, but in fact it's not really, you know. And if you look at this card, you can see that the person is guarded. They have their shield up and they're standing strong. It's like, I will not budge. Yeah, and even the shield is not happy. So, yeah. And then on the, it's like 2 extremes. On the other end, we have the Shine card. This is the Sun, and the Sun is like the most, the happiest card in the deck. You know, it's so full of hope and light, and it even looks a bit like ascension. So this, I'm just thinking about it now. You know, it's almost like that reminder that often when we are called to something higher, a higher purpose, a deeper way, spiritual way, or whatever, we first go through a lot of pain. I often talk about the wound is where the heart, the light enters. It's not my saying. It comes from, I think, Rumi, and it's so beautiful. It's part of a beautiful, bigger, beautiful poem. But the wound is where the light enters, and it could be Native American saying as well. I just can't remember. So, you know, it's just a reminder that sometimes when we are going through this, sometimes it's because we're being called to this. That's one way of looking at it, the 2 together. So, so I've been thinking about this. In fact, this week for me was very much, I was in my head a lot. I guess partly because I'm busy, but a lot of, I was observing so much and really not liking what I was seeing and not knowing how to deal with it, trying to be true to myself. It's really hard to explain. And this is one of the reasons why I have a bit of difficulty with these midweek card draws, is that some of the stuff that comes out for me is so personal, so deeply personal, that I feel when I speak about it here, it's not doing real justice to it, you know, because some of the stuff involves other people. But in any case, I learned very deep lessons. And I'm just looking at my notes. So the point, though, also with the Five of Wands, and especially in this depiction, especially in this deck of cards, is sometimes we do need to protect ourselves, right? Perhaps there's competition around us, perhaps there's disrespect, perhaps others are involved in a dog-eat-dog world, and we are this being of light, and other people are, and I'm not talking about myself now, in fact, I'm thinking of one of my friends, might be in work situations where they are this, but they are receiving this, and that's really, really difficult, you know, to keep being this being of light, and yet that's the reminder, is that you are that, you know, and that this will pass, but that you also take on the energy of protection, you know. And the other thing that kept coming to mind is two other friends, you know, people who will be watching this, that they are having partnership things, not even issues, well, maybe issues, but like dealing with relationships, with loverships or marriages, really. And I kept thinking about the two of them, and the two of you, I think you will know who you are, and thinking about how these two cards coming together are such a reminder of that balance that we need to strike sometimes between standing our ground and being willing to stand up for ourselves, which the Five of Wands is saying in a way, and also being able to throw light on the situation. And I don't mean just light, I mean love. It comes back to that Ho'oponopono, that Hawaiian, beautiful Hawaiian prayer, blessing, in fact. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And you know, the important thing about it is that you're not saying it to the other person, you're saying it to yourself, and you're saying it for yourself. And I think the thing is, the more in the light we are, even though sometimes it's really hard, the more we are able to bring light to a situation, and the easier it is to navigate, I guess. So there's no harm in doing the Ho'oponopono. But the point that I was thinking about is how, for the two of you, the battle is that constant balance, isn't it? About when to give and when to receive, when to retreat and when to move forward. And you know, the old people used to say something like this, bite, bite, and blow. And it was very sexist. I hated it. But it was about how I saw women in a relationship having that ability, or being able to use. I was constantly told I need to bite, bite, and blow. It's so funny, actually. It's like, don't just rush into the fight. Say your piece and then withdraw and let the person think about it, and then be gentle and tender. Well, that kind of thing, you know. And I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that it's about finding that balance where you're true to yourself first and foremost, where you throw light on yourself and the situation, but you're doing it for you more than anything else, you know. Especially when you've been hurt and you've felt abused and unheard. And in the one case, it's not so much that, it's like old ways of living and being, and patch his back, and where the partner, where I think in the one situation it's just simply a partner being used to old style ways of being, where the man decides how the relationship should be, and it's you're so comfortable with that, that now it's your turn. I believe it's your turn for your needs to be met. And that I think you are gently taking your stance, but you are so strongly taking care of yourself. And that's so important. And I think that's what these cards are about. It's about, wow, just being true to yourself, while it doesn't necessarily have to be a huge fight, And I think we're all learning that lesson, that it doesn't always have to be a fight. And yet sometimes it does, right? Sometimes it does. No matter how spiritual we are. I mean, we are human, and sometimes, and in any case, I don't think that the spiritual path is just about sweetness and light, right? The spiritual path is about fighting for change. It's about, well, for me anyway. I mean, if I believe that in that, then my spiritual path will involve sometimes challenging people, standing up for a belief. It might even involve, which has come up for me, not supporting someone who expected me to support them, because I just could not. It felt like I would be untrue to myself, because I felt the person wasn't living up to our shared values and principles. That's the way I felt, but it's hard sometimes. So let me talk about my experiences. That's part of it. And I've observed myself being in my head about, and it's not just one person, it's been a couple of people in my head fighting, but it's also been in my heart, And I came to, and I was thinking about the cards in relation to this, and I thought, but why? And I'm still learning the lessons of it, integrating the lessons, because I think you can learn the lessons in your head, but sometimes you haven't integrated them into your soul, right? And so I feel like I've got the lesson now in my head. My question is why? Why am I letting these things bother me? Sorry, I've just lost my train of thought. So that, and the other was, and then the other was, well, back to the cards, the juxtaposition of the cards. I could choose light instead. I could choose to see people as innocent, couldn't I? I mean, if I did that, what would it do to me? It would just shift the energy, wouldn't it? Like if we see people, no matter how we don't like their behavior, or we feel hurt by them, or we disagree with them, and we can still continue disagreeing with them. But if we see the innocence within them, it really can shift that energy. I think, especially in personal relationships, as long as we are not being physically harmed or mentally harmed, right? So those were my lessons, right? And in fact, I concluded, even just before I came here to record, I came to this conclusion that actually these two are such a powerful combination. There is so much to be learned from these two cards. So I hope that you will take them and work with them in the week ahead. And perhaps that's the thing, is that I share these and then you work with them in the week ahead. And then I will draw 2 more cards, work with those, share that, I think perhaps, or maybe it's the other way, maybe your work, you've also done this work. I don't know. I'd love your feedback, because I'm not sure if this has any value for anyone other than me. And I'm okay with that, I think that my weekly readings are clearly making a difference, and I'm so happy about that. And these perhaps might be part of my journey, and I will document it. I'll keep doing that. I just need to be realistic about how much effort I need, how much I need to do for, if it's not of value to many, then that's okay, I will just keep on my own. But please, I'd love your feedback. I'd love to hear what if you have any ideas as well. Now, oh man, and I just want to end on this one note. And it was, this came to my mind, and I don't know if it will be useful to anyone, but we don't need to be good, whatever that means. We just need to be true to ourselves and keep listening to the highest voice within us. And I feel like if we, anyway, let me leave it there. I think that if the more people do that, if we keep listening to that higher voice within ourselves, imagine how we can change the world, We're starting with ourselves, really, which is what the Southwell Soul is about, starting with ourselves. Now, one quick announcement. I did a vision board. I used the tarot last year, or beginning of this year. I did a whole theme of for myself. And I put it up on I just used the tarot and looked at different areas of my life, and I projected for this year what my key themes are, what spirit is guiding me, what do I need to look out for, blah, blah, blah. So I did that, and it's up on my wall, and every now and then I take a look and I think, wow, and I used Post-its. Anyway, so I was thinking, I'd like to offer to people who are with me on this journey, I'd love to offer a little workshop in January. I'm thinking maybe the 5th or so, after we've had Christmas or holidays. Some people don't celebrate Christmas, and most people celebrate New Year. But after New Year, after the festivities, we do a get together. I will do an online workshop using the tarot, using little tools and tricks and stuff that I've been doing for so long, and now I have anyway, we can do this online. And if you'd be interested, we do a vision board. Each of you do your own vision board, but we do it in a collective space. And I wonder if you would be interested in that. I think, yes, that's it. And I'll keep making that announcement. So I'd love to hear from you. Okay, beloveds, I will leave it there, and I hope that helped. I hope you enjoyed that. Oh, no. I must draw my next cards now. Let's see. Mommy's little baby, honestly. So I'm going to draw. Oh, wow. Oh, gosh, you're not going to believe this. So, these two cards fell out. So it's this one. This came up not so long ago, right? The Ace of Cups in the reverse. I think it was last week. And the... Okay. Should I? Yeah, no. Why not? Because that's what's come up, right? Ace of Cups in reverse and the Sun card in the upright. So let's see what happens with these cards. Okay, beloveds, I'll chat with you again soon. I'll be back with your weekly picker card on Sunday. Lots of love to you. Bye.